flower pie. This is actually one of my favourite recipes. So today we're going to be making zucchini flower pie, and we're going to start by taking the flowers off these amazing zucchinis. They're stunning. Again, the height of summer. So I'm just going to take them off like that. And to just get the petals off, you just simply peel away. And that's the bit we're going to keep. We're going to have 3 to 4 medium zucchinis here. Got a little mixture. And we're going to grate them and salt them for about 10 minutes just to draw a little bit of the water out. Just coarsely grating them. They're lovely and fresh. You don't want to use zucchinis that have been sitting around. They do have that habit of going a little bit bitter, so again, I have a little taste. Yeah, sweet and nice and firm, so they're just perfect. So a good pinch of salt. Again, this is not so much for seasoning, but to help the zucchini just release any extra liquid. There are a couple of things with this recipe, and probably the most important thing, or the key for success, is whatever filling you're putting in the pie, you don't want it to be soggy. So I'm just squeezing it a bit, and I'm going to leave it for 10 minutes. I've got 4 red onions here, and this forms a really important part of the pie. We're going to cook this down with garlic and dill and some lovely Mediterranean oregano. It does feel like a lot of work getting this base ready, but this is really the longest part of it before we assemble it. So I've got my base here, and I'm going to put it in some olive oil with a bit of salt, and I'm just going to let it cook. So the onions are cooking down nicely. It's been about 10 minutes. And I'm just going to sprinkle some gorgeous dried oregano in here. It smells like summer, somewhere warm. So you can see here, quite a lot of liquid has come out, and actually they were very fresh, so I didn't think there'd be a huge amount, but there's plenty. Now if I didn't salt them and they released this liquid in the pie when it was cooking, it would just be soggy, and you don't want that. So yeah, really, it's really worth doing, and it's quite important. And now I'm going to put the dill in. So this is about 40 grams of dill. If you've got more, you can put more. And there's no need to pick the fronds from the stems, just slice through it all. I really think the dill is an integral part of this pie, so be generous. I'm going to pop this in. So my onions are done. I'm going to take them off the heat here, and I'm going to pop them into a bowl. I have 125 grams of just cooked quinoa here, and that's simply just boiled in some salted water until it goes translucent. You don't want to cook it too far because it's going to cook further in the pie. And then here we've got 2 bags, I think they were 750 grams each, of frozen spinach. So we've just cooked that with nothing in it, just until it defrosted, and then given it a really good squeeze. And again, I know I'm banging on about it, but you want to get all the moisture out you can. I'm going to fold that in. And then my zucchini flowers are going to go in. And they're just going to kind of wilt with the heat of the onion base. You'll see. And then obviously they'll cook again when I put them through the pie. I'm just sort of folding it through. That's a lovely filling here. And finally my zucchini. And a drizzle of olive oil for good measure. And we're ready to make the pie. I've got my filo pastry here under a damp tea towel. You need to work quite quickly because it does dry out. You don't have to be sort of a perfectionist about it. And let's have a go, shall we? So 140, quite low. And it's worth saying, don't preheat the oven when you first start the recipe because you'll be here for ages. You only need about 15 minutes to preheat it. Most, modern ovens are pretty efficient. So anyway, let's work quickly. Here we go. Don't worry if it breaks. The ruffles actually, they add to it. So just horizontally covering half of it. Just a bit of oil there, helping it to stick. My next sheet. There we go. So it overlaps and just pressing it in there. As you can see, it's really not an exercise in being a perfectionist. Just making sure you've got enough on each side that when you come to sort of tuck it in, all the filling stays in the middle. There we are. It's really rather enjoyable, this bit, so don't panic about broken pastry. So, we have laid the base of the pie here. More oil there. And this last sheet I'm just going to put in the middle, like so. I'm going to get my filling. There's loads of it, and just pop it in the middle. There's no knack to this. Try not to get it on the sides of the pie, just keep it in the centre. You can see those lovely zucchini flowers in there. What a treat. Now for the top of the pie. So just the same process again, laying the sheets on top of each other. So you can really feel it starting to dry out here, so need to get a wiggle on. And we've put, zucchini and spinach in this pie, but you could easily put other greens if you wanted. Some beet leaves, some Swiss chard. Again, as long as you cook it nicely and you've got rid of the excess moisture, it's going to be delicious. Oh, I can't wait to eat this. I do have quite a heavy hand with olive oil, but it helps the layers to stick and it makes it super crispy and delicious and golden, and there is a time and a place for lots of olive oil, and this is one of them. Not sure what place there isn't for olive oil, but there we go. Now the last layer, this is a bit strange, but go with me here. We're just going to sort of crumple in the middle. Olive oil. Now I am going to start on one side, and I'm just gently going to lift this up. Hopefully it hasn't stuck to the table. It shouldn't do really. So I'm just going to go round it a couple of times, however many times I want, just making sort of ruffles and creases and making sure that there are lots of edges that can sort of get crispy. And right, now a little bit more olive oil on all the bits. You don't want any dry floury bits because they won't crisp up. Right, that'll do. And now for the decoration. So I've got some sesame seeds and some black onion seeds, and I'm just going to liberally sprinkle to all the nooks and crannies ready to put it in the oven. I put it on the bottom or the middle shelf. You want that to cook nice and slowly and evenly. I'll see you in about an hour. So it's been just over an hour. I baked it at 140 for the full hour, and then I just turned it up to 180, did another 10 minutes just to get this lovely dark colour. It's ready to serve. Oh, it smells so yummy. I'm going to have it here with some tzatziki. We do it with a plant-based yogurt that's unsweetened, so this one is coconut yogurt, and then some cucumbers, a little bit of mint, a squeeze of lemon, a bit of salt and pepper, and it's gorgeous with the pie. I'm just gonna, it's still quite hot, but look at that gorgeous pie. There we are. You could also serve it with our beetroot slaw, which we'll be doing in a few weeks' time. It's lovely, fresh and zingy. That's delicious. It's so fresh and vibrant and summery and just everything I could possibly want today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I do hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did, and we'll see you next week for another episode of What on Earth to Eat Now.